Hello everybody and welcome back to part 21 of What If Peter Parker, also known as Spider-Man, was in the My Hero Academia universe. If you haven't seen the previous parts, there will be a link in the description below and the annotation above. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and if you enjoy the video, please leave a like. Spoilers for the manga, everyone. After the raid is complete and the other heroes are taken to the hospital to heal, the 8 precepts of death are put in a car and sent to Tartarus prison. But like in the main continuity, the transport is attacked by the League of Villains, who both steal the quirk-erasing bullets and cut off Chisaki's arms. Like Compress takes one with him because vengeance, but Shiraki cuts the other one off. The heroes who weren't injured kept checking the scene, looking for casualties, like civilians who were damaged in the fight. Peter wakes up in the hospital after a while of rest. He tries to get up, but finds himself in great pain. The doctor comes in and tells him, "Take it easy, kid. You took on a lot of damage. You have 3 broken ribs, a lot of scars and electric burns, and your leg is fractured." Aizawa comes in the room and asks Peter how he's doing. Peter says, "Well, aside from the pain, I've never been better." Aizawa says, "Hey, listen, there's somebody who wants to talk to you in another room." Peter says, "Okay, give me a minute." A few minutes later, Peter, going around on a wheelchair, goes to Midoriya's room. Aizawa has the conversation he has with Midoriya in the main continuity, telling him he checked on everyone, they're all fine, and he tells Midoriya to follow him on the way to another room. On the way to the other room, Aizawa tells both the students, Peter and Midoriya, about Eri's condition. They reach the room and they walk in. Midoriya and Peter walk in the room and Midoriya says, "Recovery Girl? All Might? Why are you here?" Bubble Girl says, "I asked him to come because Sir was always talking about All Might." The doctors deliver the bad news that Nighteye will not survive. Not even Recovery Girl can help. The conversation between All Might, Midoriya, and Nighteye, as he is on his deathbed, goes pretty much the same, with Peter just standing there listening and kind of crying a bit. Mirror bursts into the room, telling Nighteye he can't die. Nighteye uses his quirk on Mirror, telling him he will be a great hero. He tells Mirror to never stop smiling. He turns to Peter and says to keep up the good work, never stop joking around. It gives people hope if you make light of the situation. He tells Mirio again that he will be a great hero and that future should not be changed. And he dies, surrounded by his pupils and his idol, surrounded by the people he holds closest. At the same time, in another location, Gigantomachia steps out of the shadows as Kurogiri is captured. The next morning at the hospital, the students are given a clean bill of health. Well, mostly. Peter has to use a cane for a couple of days while his leg finishes healing. Shouldn't take long since he has the spider healing abilities. As the students leave to go back to school, Peter and Midoriya see the news that the transport taking the 8 precepts was attacked by the League of Villains. Midoriya goes to check on Mirio one last time before he leaves. While Peter makes his way to school. When they return to school, they have to go through a bunch of inquiries and procedures, so they only return at night. During one of those Peter is debriefed on what happened. He sits in a conference room with Aizawa and tells him everything that he saw happen and whatnot. After he's done explaining what happened, he says, "I'm sorry. I couldn't help them. I can't help think. I couldn't help Midoriya or the others. I couldn't even stop the villains that I was fighting. I can't help but think I could have done more, fought smarter. If I hadn't focused so much on fighting Venom, if I hadn't relied so much on my tech, I just can't help but think I could have done more. Now those villains I failed to stop are out there, free to kill other people. It's like what happened to my uncle." For a couple of tears form on Peter's eyes, falling down his face. Aizawa puts his hand on Peter's shoulder and says, "You did all you could. No one can ask more of you. I'm not going to tell you to move on quickly. Take your time to think about how to better yourself and how to improve moving forward so you can avoid this outcome again. I know it hurts you a lot, but believe me, you do learn from your mistakes. They go into the dorms. The students that were in the internship, the 5 students, go into the dorms, and Mineta screams, "They're back! They came back!" Which leads everybody ganging up on them to ask them how they are doing. Ida, thinking back to an interaction, says, "You all saw the news, didn't you? So you know what they went through. As classmates, we should be sensitive to the feelings and let them rest. It's not just their bodies. Their spirits must be hurting too." Midoriya tells Ida, "Thank you, but I'm alright." Ida says, "Well then?" "I was so worried! None of you have the slightest idea how I..." And Zero interrupts, saying, "You're the most intense one of all." Bakugo and Todoroki go to sleep as they have the provisional license training. Peter goes to bed too, as he is very drained from Recovery Girl's treatments, and has to go through more in the morning, so he goes to bed. Once in his room, he lays on the bed and tears start forming in his eyes again as he thinks back to the day Uncle Ben died, when he had a chance to do something. Days pass and October begins. The students attend Night-Eye's funeral and the internships are cancelled for the time being. Eri wakes up from a coma, and Peter's leg has healed by this time. Although he does have some scars that are now permanent from the damage he took, like some electric burns and some scratches from both Venom and Doc Ock. The students are in math class and Ectoplasm asks a hard math question. Most of the class start trying to figure out the answer. Some can't even figure it out, like Tokoyami even turns, "Wow, even Yaoyorozu and Peter are having trouble with this. It must be a question of darkness." Especially Midoriya, who is going crazy trying to figure out the exercise. He raises his arm and says, 107 divided by 11. Ectoplasm says wrong. At the same time, Peter and Yaoyorozu raise their hands. Peter was a second faster and says 107 divided by 28. Ectoplasm says correct. The students then move on to other things. Lunchtime, for example, where Peter sits with Harry and Gwen and they discuss stuff about the upcoming culture festival, for example. Harry says, damn it! I won't be able to go to the culture festival if it's that day. My stupid dad wants me at this big company gala thing the same day. He keeps getting on my case how I have to step up to the company and whatnot. Peter says, "Guess it's just us then, huh, Gwen?" Gwen smells and Peter says, "Guess so." They go to put their food trays in the thingy and Gwen says, "You know, my dad told me what you did." Peter asks, "What did I do?" Gwen says, "You took on the three very strong villains all by yourself, all to try and stop them from helping the boss to take the girl." Peter says, "Yeah, but it did take a lot out of me. I could have died. I really regret how I fought in that fight. I could have done things so much better." Some tears start forming in his eyes as he remembers the fight and all the emotions he has associated with it. Gwen kind of says, like, puts his hand on his shoulder, "Hey, you okay? It's fine. Nonetheless, I heard you did amazing. My dad has been talking very highly of you lately." Well, that's where I'm gonna leave it, as the next episode is where they start discussing the next event. I am glossing over the events where Peter has no interaction and whatnot, so I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and leave suggestions for whatever you want in the comments. Please, I really enjoy all your support. Thank you all very much. And until next time, have a nice day, everyone.